Greetings, investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is entitled A Trick of the Light. It was written by Janice Hill, and she is our game master. This is episode 5, and Jeff Wilkins will be giving the recap. So, let's get this party started. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. Jeff?
Thanks, Tom. They say that you can tell a lot about a man by the company he keeps. Tonight, as our ragtag group was sitting around my living room, I was looking around and wondering what I've gotten myself into. Hey Johnny, hold it down a little. I can't hear myself think. So I'm not judging these folks morally. I'm certainly not in a position to throw stones. But after today's events, it seems everyone has their own agenda. The group was up in Jeremiah Lambert's room, the painter, for quite a while, and while they didn't tell me much of what they found, one thing's for certain, they found another one of those strange paintings. Something about a mountainside with moving doors. I didn't look at it. These paintings give me the creeps. The landlord also gave us a box of Lambert's stuff. Gerard? He's a strange bird. He keeps wandering off on his own, and he doesn't seem very forthcoming with what he's up to. I don't trust his motives. Maybe he's just chasing the almighty dollar as well. Diz and Prez have set up some sort of a scam where they're hoping to have Gerard paint some forgeries of a painting in the hopes of getting themselves and the shady cat named Danny Dice some extra dough. I'm not sure they're thinking about what might happen to Pearlie or the girl or the rest of us if they get caught pulling a scam like that. Gerard has already admitted to us that he's not a painter. The latest is that there's a big party this Wednesday night that Philip Stone is hosting in his mansion. We've been warned that he's a violent man who throws some strange parties. There's talk of orgies. Johnny wants us to go and provide music, but I'm not so sure we've been invited or that we'll even be allowed in. Maggie and Prez have already agreed to hand over the painting to him, but they're talking now like they're not going to do it. I think again they might be trying to get more money out of the man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this helps Cassandra. I don't know, there are a lot of plans being talked about, and I'm not sure where we landed.
That was amazing. What a great job, Jeff.
That was great. That was really good.
So cool.
I really appreciate you going that extra mile. Well, when we last left our stalwart heroes, as mentioned by Frankie, you were all convened in his little living room, discussing the various details about what you learned from the landlord, what you found in the studio. Maggie seemed to be very insistent that we follow through all of this. In fact, I suspect looking at the second painting and being in the studio has rather amped up her desire to find out what happened to Cassandra. And I don't know if you folks want to pick up with that discussion where we left off last week or segue into something else. We were rolling along pretty good when we had to cut last week.
Yeah, I don't know if we landed on a firm plan, but I was actually a little bit confused. So if somebody wants to kind of give me a brief update on that, where we landed,
all right.
I'd appreciate that. Unless it's still up in the air, then we can just discuss it further.
Well, why don't you ask that question in character, Frankie?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I personally think that we should, I will go to the party. That is my plan. And I can do any kind of painting exchange that you'd like.
And I think you all know where I stand on the matter. I feel that if turning over one or both of these paintings to Mr. Stone helps us get this girl back to safety, or at least gives us an idea of whether she's safe or not, I think I'm amenable to a solution that entails that.
Does that mean you're going to the party then, Maggie?
I was under the impression that I could perhaps wait in the getaway car and
That is right, yes.
Yeah, I believe that was the plan.
Right. And come at a predetermined time if I haven't heard anything from you or seen you running out screaming and pulling out your hair.
I agree with Maggie about the paintings, but until we know for sure it's going to help her, I don't think we should turn them over.
I agree. Yeah.
Right, so since the idea was that we would give him the mountain one.
Yeah, the landscape.
Yeah, there's no value.
We're just going to freeze in with a photograph of a painting. Showing what we've got.
Or that, yeah.
We have leverage.
Because if you go in there with the painting, someone's just going to strong arm that off of you.
Right, because I took pictures of both paintings, and so I can kind of blow them up to show enough detail where we can use those as leverage, just as proof that we have them. But I think Prez is right. Or I'm not really speaking in my southern drawl, but yeah.
Look, I don't want to blow my own trumpet because that's Johnny's gig, but I've been dealing with people like this a lot over the years. You know, I know how to feel these people out, so I'm going in there. This is what I do.
Can I ask though?
I guess our. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to verify that. I thought Pearlie had to deliver this painting, and we were basically delivering it for him.
Right.
So,
well, the thing here is, since this is a party, this is what I was going to say anyway.
Yeah.
Since this is a party, why not say that? Well, we're going to handle business later on after the party. So we didn't bring the painting to perform any sort of exchange right now. But
Have you been invited to the party?
Well, we're the plan for Frankie and I were to go in as the musical guest.
Well, Maggie and I have got invites.
Right.
So I can come at any time if I need to. But I was thinking I could, even with the paintings in the car, drop you guys off, or I
can go in. I can go in with Prez, and I can show him the prints.
Well, he knows, but he already knows me as a photographer. He thinks I'm a photographer.
Right.
So if I'm going in with photos, there's nothing odd about that at all. I'm a photographer. I've got photos of some paintings that I think he might be interested in. I don't know much about art, but I showed him I knew a little bit, I'm
surprised. I thought, Mr. Newsom, you are kind of morally objecting to the whole party scene.
Oh, I'm not taking my britches off. I'm just going to go and, I'll have the prints of the photos. Or I'll give them to Prez if he wants them. It doesn't make any difference to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to get nasty about it, but I don't want no rat breathing down my neck.
Ooh. I'll tell you, I will fit in just perfectly at this kind of party. You can just have me do all the work.
Yeah, but if there's any sort of danger, we don't want you to be there by yourself.
At a party, yes, there will be no problem.
Well,
Gerard, we know that these are dangerous people and that violence is a regular feature of these parties.
We have been told by someone who didn't particularly care for Mr. Stone that he is a violent man. That doesn't mean that any of this is true.
Yes, but it's better safe than sorry.
He's a collector of art, and he's a bit eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
I just know I got a strange vibe from the man when I met him.
Strange vibe. The guy is several sandwiches short of a picnic.
So I would say enter at your own risk, and that's why I will not be attending unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I think the party's a good excuse to not deliver the painting tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Today we could promise to do it tomorrow. I think that's about all the time we bought for dice.
Yeah. and we get a chance to look around. That's really the point of all this, is to actually look around and see what we can see.
Yeah, I was thinking of not going to the party, but while you guys are there, checking out the outbuildings, seeing what's out there.
That's true. There's quite a bit of land. There may be additional structures.
It's maybe a bigger party than you think.
Yeah, but at this time, that time wandering around naked outside isn't going to be a really good idea. So being dressed out there is a problem.
That's never a good idea.
It's the middle of June.
The mosquitoes are biting.
Well,
okay. Well, any questions about our plan? The kid and I will wait in the car.
Sure.
You gentlemen will find your way into the party. Diz will go on a reconnoitering mission around the facilities. And I'll be ready to swoop you up as needed.
You know, it just occurred to me, why doesn't would there be a way that we could figure out who else is on the guest list?
Were you invited, Gerard?
If I show up, everything will be okay, I'm sure.
I'll take that as a no.
Well, I've been wondering if this Weatherton guy is going to be there.
That's a good question.
That'd be nice. Make sure he's around when you show the pictures to our host.
Sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm just wondering what kind of rivalry they've got. Are they sort of rivals, or are they friendly rivals?
All rich people are rivals.
That would be very informative.
Yeah.
I would, I mean, in answer to your question to whether there's a list or not, I would assume that perhaps people would want to keep their participation in such events somewhat of a tightly held secret. We live in quite liberal times, but I think being a libertine is somewhat looked down upon.
Well, I think that is the secret. I don't think that he announces that it is clothing optional.
He told me.
He told you because you're invited.
He sure told us.
Well, we shall see.
If you're talking about subtexts, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah, lots of subtext.
I was getting one hell of a subtext off of him.
Yes.
I was getting very much the anything goes feeling from that fellow.
Is that a euphemism for something I don't know?
Yeah, it's a euphemism for a lot of things you don't know.
Well, while you folks are discussing, there is a knock at Johnny's door.
All right. Well, I'll go and see who it is.
Okay. Standing out in the hallway is a young fellow, looks to be maybe 10 or 12, a bit raggedy around the edges. He pulls his hat off very quickly and looks you up and down and says, are you Frankie?
No, Frankie. I call him.
I'll get up. Who is it?
Some kid.
He,
does he look like familiar, like he's from the neighborhood, or?
That would be your guess from the way he's dressed. You probably don't know him as an individual, but he looks like he's part of probably one of the kids that, frequents the neighborhood. He rubs his hands up and down on his pants for a moment to clean them and reaches inside of his shirt and pulls out a envelope and hands it over to Frankie.
Thank you, sir. And I'll give him a coin of a tip or something.
And he grins and sticks it in his pocket and puts his cap back on and dashes off down the hallway.
What is this? And I'll open it.
Yeah. The envelope is fairly expensive. looking kind of stationary, and has the faint scent of jasmine coming from it.
I look at Frankie and I say, make sure you keep that away from your wife.
This could be from my wife.
Right. Better be.
Perhaps it's from Mr. Philip Stone.
Yeah, he's definitely a kind of a floral kind of man. I got that feeling.
So you, I'm presuming you open it up.
Yes.
Inside is a single sheet of paper folded in half. Again, fairly expensive stationery. And a very short, simple note is written inside, which says simply 6 p.m. and an address, and underneath a flowery L. And this is definitely feminine handwriting.
Sweet. Like I said, keep that away from your wife.
Flowery L. Is this Lydia?
Lydia Oleander.
She's real?
Of course she's real.
Yeah, man, that excuse is not going to pass when your wife hears about this. So come up with something better.
A lady pimp has decided to send you a letter.
Do we recognize the address?
It is in a tonier part of town, not incredibly upper class, not incredibly lower class. Sort of where bankers and mid-level executives might live in Boston.
Okay. I'll obviously share it with everybody too.
All right. Well,
seems the news has gotten out.
Should you and I look into this?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I'm glad our friend paid off then.
Yeah.
Is this so? This would be the same night as the party.
No, this is this evening. The party is tomorrow. It's on Wednesday.
Oh, tonight, 6 p.m.
Right.
tonight.
I'd be careful if I were you. You know, the oleander is a poisonous plant.
I've heard that.
Yeah, they taught us all about it when I was a Boy Scout.
It's a pretty flower, though, right?
But very beautiful, yes.
It's very beautiful, but it
Pink
can
and
cause diarrhea and vomiting.
Difficult to take care of.
You're talking about a flower, or you're talking about women?
Perhaps both.
I'm told the limeys call it the rose bay.
It's a weed in California.
Oh.
You sure do know a lot about America for a French fella.
Yes, indeed.
One hears things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anybody is welcome to join us if they want.
She may only be expecting you to. I'm happy to tag along if you need me, but she may be only expecting you two gentlemen.
Well, she certainly wouldn't want a reporter to show up.
Right.
Yeah, because that would be a good scoop.
I'm surprised Mr. Stone invited you to his party. You are a reporter.
He has some intentions towards me, I'm sure.
Hey, look, fellas. If you're going over there to chat with her, how about I just come over with you and wait in the car just in case.
That is probably a good idea.
You know.
Have you had dealings with her before, Prez?
No, not with her, but you know, with people like her. I know that people in that profession usually don't take no for an answer. So,
Well, I do know that.
We'll come up with some sort of signal. I can come in.
The impression that you, Frankie and Johnny, got when you were talking with Georgette is that if you indeed got invited or accepted for a meeting with Lydia, that there would be no objection if you brought people with you.
Okay.
But
so anyone who wants to come is free to come.
Then I will come with.
And then, I mean, of course, when we were talking with Lydia, we told her that we were interested in trying to help out Cassandra. We even said that, we'll find Cassandra. I mean, Cassandra was one of Lydia's girls, so Lydia.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. But Lydia is definitely interested in, getting the her employee back at the very least. At least she can point us in the right direction. So,
I would suggest to you that you act very. Don't mention much about the prostitution. She will like to be treated like a lady. She's not just a...
Well, of course.
Madam.
She is the madam of madams.
You treated Lydia like a lady. That's
I'll go and make sure they're on their best manners, Gerard.
Jeez.
Should I go in?
I look at you, Frankie, and I shake my head. I'm like, wow.
All I can think of is that new song that's out, the Lydia, oh Lydia, the tattoo lady.
That song is only sung by sailors, my friend.
I saw it in movies. I'm probably off by 10 years.
I knew a tattooed lady once. You ever heard of a tattoo called the Fox Hunt?
No.
No, well, you're an innocent boy.
Well, let's do something other than sit here and talk about things.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, you have a couple hours before 6 o'clock rolls around, so you should determine who is planning on going to the meeting and what you would like to do to fill your time in between.
Maggie wants to go, but she'll leave that up to Frankie and Johnny.
Yeah, come along if you wish.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to go, but I'm just going to sit outside in the car just to, just if everything goes to shit.
I'm all in.
I'll sit out in the car.
I guess this better be one big car, or maybe we should take two.
I was just thinking that.
Well, how about Gerard and I can. Well, those of us who aren't going in with you, we can just follow on in my old. I know someone who's got a car I can borrow. I say borrow. I can get a car.
I'm with Maggie. She's paying my fare, so I'll go where she goes.
I'll get us a cab. It's fine.
Nice. And after, between now and then, I'll go to the dark room and I'll get those prints made up for Prez.
Okay.
Well, if you fellas are going in a car, maybe Frankie, maybe I could maybe borrow your motor. You'll get it back.
Oh, I was gonna drive.
Oh well, that's all right. We'll just sit in the back.
Yeah.
We'll just sit in the back. We'll smoke. We'll play a round of canasta.
Oh, canasta. I like canasta.
Sounds like a party. That's the kind of party I want to go to.
We'll just wait outside.
I will bring the refreshments.
Take a whistle with you. Anything goes wrong, just blow the whistle. We'll come in.
I could bring my little saxophone mouthpiece. It'll sound like an old goose.
Somehow I think that canasta in the back seat does not sound like a party. It sounds like an arrest waiting to happen.
You ain't never played canasta in the back seat? Boy, you ain't never lived.
We did not have that in Dallas, no.
Maggie's just going to try and...
It's all the rage here on the East Coast.
Maggie's just going to try and figure out what sort of outfit to wear to, like, a madam's place of residence. Like, what would be appropriate for that.
That'll take at least 3 hours, right?
Yeah. So.
If you go as church lady, then she will be put out. If you go as prostitute,
she'll try and hire me. So she's going to try and find a happy medium between, conservative and...
First impressions are important.
Yeah.
All right, so we will presume that each of you have various bits and fiddles you need to take care of, even if that are just sort of mundane tasks over the next couple of hours. If there's anything particularly not mundane, you can drop me an email or something and we can work it out, whatever the details are, before next time. But I'm going to presume, at least since you've only got a short window of time, that no one's going to attempt to do anything that's going to derail the meeting or raise havoc or burn down the city or anything like that.
Burn down the city. I like that one. We've done that before.
And
it had to be done.
The two cars will, one presumes, meet at the appointed hour out in front of the building, which is a very lovely townhouse with a little iron fence out front and on a major thoroughfare.
But she has money.
Looks, from the outside, like a place that's going to, be owned by a mid-level bank vice president or advertising guy or someone kind of in the upper corporate structure.
All right, I'll gather everybody up. So just real quick, who's with us? It's me and Johnny and Maggie and Diz. Kid, are you with Maggie or are you staying in the car?
How about you stay in the car, Kid, if I can make an executive decision for you?
Sure, I don't mind. No canasta in the back seat. That does not sound right. No.
Clothing's optional.
What about whist?
That's tomorrow night.
Strip cadabra.
Whist.
My cigarette holder just went.
What about a quick game of Go Johnny Go Go Go?
52 pickup.
All right, so Frankie, Johnny, Maggie, and Diz are going to form our little meeting party, and the other three gentlemen are going to hang out around the car and play cards, clothing optional. Strip poker.
My mama did not raise me to do things like that.
What did she raise you for then?
That's none of your beeswax, Mr. Pantalon.
Are there any other cars in the driveway or out on the curb? Or
does not appear to be so. There certainly is traffic going along this street. It's not horrendously busy because it's a residential area, but certainly there are people walking by on foot. It looks surprisingly ordinary for supposedly being the home, or at least meeting place of Boston's most notorious pimp.
You're going to find out that she's just a housewife and her husband can't believe how good she is with the budget.
Yeah, so we'll head up, knock on the door.
Okay. After a couple of moments, a young man dressed in a business suit with little wire rim glasses opens up the door and looks at the four of you and says, "May I help you?"
What do you do, sir? I have a invitation here, and I'll show him the invitation. And I'll say, I hope it's not too presumptuous, but I have a couple friends here with me too, if that's okay.
Yeah, his eyebrows go up a bit, and he looks very impressed for some reason. And says, "Well, you are all most certainly welcome. Please come in." He holds the door open.
He said you're almost certain.
And the first thing that you will be aware of is when you step into the entryway of this house is that everything here seems to be coated in a faint whiff of perfume of varying different scents, mostly floral. but it seems to be, it's not overwhelming. It's not like it hits you in the face, but it is definitely pervasive. And you will hear coming from upstairs feminine laughter and sounds of people moving around and doors opening and closing, that sort of thing. He will take you into a little front sitting room that has a piano and several plush couches and a fireplace, which is not on, and thick oriental carpets. The draperies are all drawn closed. The furniture here looks well appointed, but probably 10 years out of date. So not modern, kind of more towards the swirly, florid kind of Victorian style with little animal heads carved on the legs and that sort of thing. You do not see bookcases. There is a liquor cabinet. It's fairly small, but none of the kind of appointments you would expect to see in someone's home. So no personal touches, no photographs, anything like that. And he will ask you to wait, and he will tell Miss Oleander that you have arrived, and we'll leave you to your own devices for a couple of minutes.
Anyone want to volunteer to do the talking here?
I don't mind.
I mean, I'll make introductions and then maybe I'll turn it over to you then.
Sure.
Well, while we're sitting around, I'll take a closer look at this room.
Okay.
See if there's anything, I guess, out of place in a way.
The impression that you get is that it is probably a kind of social room where clients and ladies hang out and listen to music and get to know each other. It's not really set up in the sense that it feels like someone's living room, but more like an office, more like a business sort of place, even though it looks very comfortable.
So it's not like, it doesn't look like a lounge area. It looks more professional than that.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Definitely.
Johnny, do you remember the name of the woman that we saw? It was Georgette, wasn't it?
Georgette, I believe.
Okay.
And after a appropriately long waiting period, right when you start to get a little antsy, but not before you're getting annoyed, this very striking woman comes into the room. She's probably in her mid to late 40s, long black hair, very unusual since the 20s is very much about the short, close-cropped haircuts. And she has sort of cafe au lait skin. She's probably a mulatto or mixed race. Tall, willowy, dressed very elegantly in a jacket and skirt, sort of a business suit ensemble almost. And she will look you each over and give you each a nod and says in a very thick sort of southern drawl, "Now, which of you are Frankie?"
I'll stand up, take off my hat. How do you do, Miss Oleander?
"I'm very charmed." She extends her hand out to you.
Likewise.
"I've heard quite impressive things about you and your friend. Which one of you is Johnny?"
Yeah, this is my good pal Johnny. And this is and these are my other friends. This is Maggie and Biz.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Oleander.
Miss Maggie. Diz, is that a shortened form for something else?
Oh, muted.
I'm muted. Short for Diz.
Interesting. I understand, Mr. Frankie. Is it all right if I address you by your first name?
Yes, please.
I understand from my dear girl Georgette that you had some something of importance to discuss with me regarding one of my ladies.
Yeah, I don't know how much she explained to you, but in a short version, we're concerned about what we know is Cassandra.
Yes. Frankie, I'm very worried about the poor thing myself.
If I may interject, we're concerned. Do you know where her last whereabouts were?
Well, the last time I saw her probably was May of last year. She took up with that artist fella.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're aware of Mr. Lambert as well. Did he ever come around here at all, or?
No, of course he did.
Uh-huh. Do you know the extent of their relationship?
Well, she walks over and drapes an elbow over the mantelpiece in front of the fireplace and sort of picturesquely poses herself in the center of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what sort of details you're looking for, Miss Maggie.
Well, we're trying to figure out if he was merely in a business relationship with her, or if it was a real, it was true love.
Mm.
She seemed to frequent his place quite a bit, and he didn't seem like the type of man who'd be able to afford your exquisite services.
Yes, my girls are quite extraordinary.
Mm.
She looks over at Frankie and Johnny and gives them a little raised eyebrow, looking for some sort of affirmation from the two of them.
We'll nod our heads. Well, I'll nod my head. And if Frankie isn't nodding, I'll kick him. Sort of like, come on, man.
He's nodding.
You have to understand that the arrangement with the painter, Mr. Lambert, was a little unusual.
Oh. How so?
Well, the man came to me looking for a very specific type of girl.
Mm. What was he looking for?
He was looking for a young lady to match as closely as possible a photograph he had.
Mm. Okay, I see. And I'm presuming this woman in the photograph looks like Cassandra.
Well, as near as I could manage. Now, mind you, it wasn't identical, but I think we did a pretty good match.
Do you know who the girl in the photograph was? Did he explain?
Well, now that's a mighty interesting conjecture. You see, I don't let anything go to waste. Everything might be useful eventually. It could be that I might have that there photograph or something like it here.
Oh, well, that would be of great use to us.
Oh, I'm certain it would. The question is how terribly valuable do you think it is to you?
Can I use charm on her?
You can.
Okay. I'm going to try and charm her to give it to us for free, hopefully, or for a fair price. Okay. I pass.
Charming
41 out of 80, so okay. Just above a medium success.
Okay.
Well, Mrs. Oleander, you see, time is of the essence. We really need to find out what is happening with this, with Miss Cassandra, and if we can get any sort of information from you, that would be excellent. And a photograph describing a woman that looks like her could be very helpful to us.
Well, darling, you're such a sweet child. I am immensely impressed by your very sensible shoes.
Oh, thank you.
I don't suppose that you'd be willing to perhaps have tea with me some afternoon?
I would love that.
Well, I think for a favor and a consideration to be chalked up on the board for later, that I think that we might be able to arrange for you to take a look at this little thing.
Wonderful, thank you.
So
Your
she
kindness is much appreciated.
goes over to a cabinet and opens up the doors, and you'll get a brief glimpse when she pulls this drawer open of dozens and dozens of envelopes with writing on them. And she flips through them and brings one out. Says, I think this might be of interest to you.
Thank you,
Now,
Carla.
of course, you can't take it away. I have to keep it, but you're welcome to read it here.
Okay, that's fair. She'll sit down on one of the couches and pull it out.
I presume that you're going to share that with everyone else.
Details of Marston tragedy released. Beautiful socialite's life cut short. June 25th, 1903. The murder of Miss Adriana Marston at the family residence on the evening of her engagement has provoked shock and horror amongst all those who know her. Following a suitable period of mourning for the family, the details of the terrible loss have finally been released to the public. On the evening of June 19th, police were called to the Marston home upon the discovery of Miss Adriana Marston's body in a small garden pool located behind the residence. Information from the medical examiner's report gleaned by this reporter indicate that the young woman's death was due to drowning. That it was indeed the murder of the foulest kind is borne out by the following facts, further taken from the official report. Certain curious bruising about the arms and throat may indicate Miss Marston was roughly handled in some manner just prior to her death. A laceration upon the temple may indicate that Miss Marston was struck by some object, perhaps to render her pliable to the murderer's wishes. Indications from police evidence seem to point to the possibility that Miss Marston struggled with her assailant. Both the medical examiner and the police files state that the clothing of the victim was found in great disarray, and it is presumed that some willful interference was practiced on the victim by the assailant. The death of Miss Marston on June 19th was doubly a shock to friends and relatives of the family. The murder occurred during the engagement party held to celebrate the announcement of Miss Marston's impending marriage to Mr. Robertson Fay. Mr. Fay was the son of Ronald Fay, noted attorney at law of Washington, D.C. Miss Marston's body was discovered by a servant who had stepped outside to gain a respite from the crowds of well-wishers that had thronged the house. Police questioned closely the attending guests, including Mr. Fay and Mr. Robert Pickman, a painter from Boston who had recently completed a portrait of Miss Marston. Mr. Fay told police that Miss Marston and Mr. Pickman had often had words of the most violent sort, and that Miss Marston had said more than once that she found Mr. Pickman to be a little odd and that she was often uneasy in his presence. Mr. Pickman's statement was brief, stating only that Miss Marston sometimes disagreed with his choice of colors or decisions on style as regarded her portrait. Several of the house servants and Dr. Thomas Marston, the young lady's father, confirmed that she and Mr. Pickman argued on more than one occasion. However, Thomas Marston also spoke for Mr. Pickman's character, saying, "I do not believe that Robert could have done such a shocking thing. He does not have such violence within him. Some people who have suggested that he is capable of such an act have spoken out of grief and perhaps jealousy. Their words should not be countenanced by right-thinking people." After questioning the guests, including both Mr. Fay and Mr. Pickman, were cleared of all police suspicion of responsibility. Miss Marston is survived by her father. Dr. Thomas Marston is the Associate Director of Egyptian Studies at the Smithsonian Institute, an aunt, Mrs. A.J. Farmer, and several cousins. Editors note the quotation has been heavily paraphrased from the original in order to spare the sensibilities of family readers of this newspaper. This is very intriguing, Miss Oleander.
I thought you might find it so.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Lambert was looking for a young lady who closely matched the picture of that poor dead girl.
Very beautiful blonde woman.
Yes, indeed.
Similar to Cassandra.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. And this was quite a while ago. This was more than 20 years ago that this poor woman died. I wonder why. Did you ever have any dealings with Mr. Pickman?
No, I'm afraid not. I don't know anything about him except for what they've said in the newspaper.
Did it strike you as odd that he wanted a girl that looked like a woman who was presumably murdered?
Oh, honey.
Just breaks that laugh.
I'm here to cater to everyone's tastes.
What was your impression of Mr. Lambert?
Well, he was not overly tall, but it looked thin, as if he'd been sick for a while when I first met him. Rather gaunt, but intense, if you understand what I mean. Forceful in his personality, though, frankly, he wasn't much to look at.
How would you describe his relationship with Cassandra?
Well, at what time?
Did it progress from when?
Oh, most certainly. You see, he came to me first looking for a model, a woman to pose for him that matched this young lady in the newspaper article, and she'll go over and pluck it out of your fingers and fold it back up, put it in her envelope. That went on for a month or two, and then he came back after he'd seen her quite frequently for these artistic expeditions, and said that he wanted to buy her out of the business.
I see. And were you amenable to that request?
Sweet. My darling, everything has its price. No.
And he had money.
Yes, he did. You wouldn't believe it from a rather threadbare fellow that he was, but apparently he'd come into to quite a bit of it in some place. So he ponied up the contract fee, and they went happily on their way. Now, she did come back once or twice to pick up a few things and talk to some of the other girls, and frankly, a couple months after they were together, I rather suspect that they were not doing too terribly well.
And what led you to that conclusion?
She was a very bright thing, if you understand, outgoing and vivacious and quite lovely, but the more time she spent with him, the quieter she became, less lively, I suppose, is a good word for it. She didn't look like she'd been sleeping well either. Dark circles under her eyes.
Was she starting to get that same sort of gaunt look that Lambert had?
Well, now, I wouldn't say exactly to that extent, but it was very interesting because I didn't see much of him, but he seemed to be doing just fine from what she told the girls, at least what I overheard. But she looked like she was perhaps coming down with an illness.
And did she, when he announced that he wanted to purchase her contract, was she happy about this turn of events?
Oh, yes. They developed quite an attachment to one another during the course of her posing. I expect there was other things going on, of course. It probably led them to become affectionate with one another.
How long have you been in this business, Ms. Oleander, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, just here in Boston or forever?
Forever. And how long have you been in Boston?
Well, I started in the trade myself as a very young child, but I've been in Boston for the last 5 years. I've got connections in a number of places, so my name is not unknown.
Can I ask we've been given the name that we've been calling her Cassandra. Do you know her under any other name, or is that the best? If we were to ask around for her, should we use that name?
Yes, that would be the best name. That's the name that she preferred to be known by here in Boston.
Okay.
Was she from here originally? Do you know?
Well, she kind of sighs and rolls her eyes. You know, these ladies are running from all sorts of terrible situations. Most of them prefer to forget what happened to them in the past. I didn't ask too closely. I figured it was her business, but perhaps she shared something with some of the other girls.
Mm-hmm. How long was she under your employ?
Well, she worked for me for about 3 years before she went off with Mr. Lambert.
Mm-hmm.
It was very popular, especially at the more exotic social events in Boston.
Do you know anything about a Mr. Stone? Philip Stone?
Oh, my dear, what would you like to know? Now, understanding that there's a certain amount of client confidentiality.
Of course, yes. Do your girls... have they been known to frequent his parties?
Only a very certain subset of them.
Any particular girls that kind of stand out that often go to those parties? Any distinguishing features, characteristics?
They have to be somewhat willing to go beyond the normal call of duty.
Mm-hmm. I see. Will any of them be going to his party tomorrow evening?
Oh, well, that's quite a coup to be invited to one of his soirees.
Yes, I hear they're quite interesting. Interesting little events.
Well, if you're offered a blindfold, I would advise you to turn it down.
Thank you. Thank you for the information ahead of time.
At least if it's your first invitation.
Yes, I understand the confidentiality aspect, but could you say, just generally speaking, did Cassandra ever have any interactions with Mr. Stone?
Well, I can't give you details about what goes on, but I can easily tell you that he was certainly wont to call on her quite often.
I see.
Now, of course, much of that changed when she went off with Mr. Lambert.
I see. So,
Yeah,
so
obviously,
go ahead.
She obviously didn't tell you where her and Mr. Lambert were going, did she?
Well, I knew that they were still in Boston because she came back to pick up things and to visit with some of the girls after she left. I haven't seen her since probably May of last year, I think was the last time she was here.
Was there one of your girls that were pretty close to her? That she
yes.
To?
Yeah. Georgette was her roommate.
Okay.
We didn't get Georgette in any trouble?
In any trouble? What way?
I mean, with you. I mean, she was kind enough to set up this meeting. I hope
Oh, no, I'm concerned about what may have happened to poor Cassandra. She has seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth, and I take a particular motherly interest in all of my ladies. I want to make sure that they're safe and that they're well cared for.
That's nice. I hope if we find anything out, maybe could we return and fill you in and update you?
Yes, I would most appreciate that. That would be a very gentlemanly thing to do, Mr. Frankie. Gives you a kind of warm, melting sort of look.
Oh,
That's
shut.
Frankie. That's Frankie, our resident gentleman. And I give him a little nudge, like, good man.
How about you, Diz? You got any questions for her?
I don't know if there's much more I can tell you. I'm perfectly happy to answer anything that'll lead us to finding out what happened to her.
So we greatly appreciate the information, and hopefully our little investigation can pull up where this poor girl is.
Yes. I feel rather responsible after sending her off with that Mr. Lambert.
It's hard to know these things.
Oh, he did seem like a decent sort, frankly, though a little odd.
Mm-hmm.
Made some of the other girls feel a bit uneasy, but I didn't see any harm in him, frankly.
So he saw other girls or just Cassandra?
Only when he came to pick her up, or when he came to talk about buying her contract. He didn't have any interest in any of the rest of them. Only her.
Mm.
And so, Lambert, did he ever offer to pay you in artwork?
Well, no, he never did offer that. And if he had, I think I would have turned him down. You understand, artwork really doesn't put food on the table or a roof over your head.
Probably a smart idea, yeah.
But I think he must have been doing an awful lot of drawing or painting or something, because when she was modeling with him, she was gone quite often.
All right, well, gentlemen, unless you had anything else, I think we've taken up enough of Miss Oleander's time.
Very good. I'll have someone see you to the door.
Thank you again, and I'll reach out to you, or you reach out to me for our meeting.
Oh, yes, tea. You can spare a couple of hours in an afternoon?
Of course, yes.
If you'd like to give me your card, I can send a car for you.
Yes, certainly. Thank you.
Perhaps Friday, 2 o'clock?
Sure.
Excellent. Oh, and do bring your lovely sensible shoes with you.
Will do.
And she doesn't really saunter. It's more like she sort of pours herself from place to place.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
And it'll give you guys a couple of minutes at least alone to kind of recharge or discuss before your escort arrives to take you out.
Yeah, Maggie's like, this business, just disturbs me to my very core.
You just set up a date with her, I think, though, didn't you?
Well, hey, it could be a good story. That's all I'm getting out of this. Otherwise, what a horrible woman that she's doing to those poor girls. Horrible.
And,
I'm sure our readers would be flabbergasted by the sheer audacity of the business.
And to your surprise, Frankie and Johnny, it is indeed Georgette who comes to see you folks to the door. She's a striking woman of about 20 or 22 with auburn hair and green eyes, and dressed in a a peignoir, sort of a wrapper with lots of frills and lace kind of all over it, and a little mussy looking. She looks like she maybe just woke up. But she's delighted to see you two boys, and I'll give you each a little quick kiss on the cheek. And as Miss Oleander sent me to see you to the door, I'm not sure what your business is here, but I'm glad that you were able to meet with her.
Well, thank you very much.
Hello, Georgette. I'm Maggie. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Maggie. Looks over at Diz.
Sorry for my manners.
Have you made any decision, she kind of lowers her voice, about what you're going to do with that terrible painting?
It seems very up in the air at the moment. There seems to be a lot of directions we could go in, and I'm not sure if we've landed on one. Are you going to be at the party tomorrow night?
No, that's a little outside my skill set. Did she tell you anything about Cassandra?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got some good information, although
Good.
I'm not sure we have anything concrete, so to say. Did she actually live here? Like when she wasn't living with
Yes.
Lambert, was she living here?
Well, yes, she did. At when she was just modeling for him before she left, she stayed here and she came in and out, and then she came back to pick up some of her stuff in May. She didn't look too good then.
Yeah, she mentioned that. Were you concerned about her, or was it just didn't look healthy?
Well, I was worried about her, but she kept telling me she was fine. I told her she should go see the doctor.
That's serious. Okay.
We've got someone on retainer who looks after everyone here and takes care of any little problems should they arise. And I told Cassandra she ought to go see her because if anyone knew what might be wrong with her, that would be the person to go see. I don't know if she ever went or not, but...
Did she sort of play it off like no big deal, or did she seem as though that was a good idea?
A little of both. I don't think she wanted to worry me, but I think she was a little concerned about, I mean, I know she and Lambert were probably fighting or arguing a lot. She didn't look very happy the last time I saw her.
Was it money issues?
Could be. I tried to get her to tell me, but she wouldn't say anything. She might have said something to the doctor, but I don't know. Mama Bella is, she's kind of a confidant to a lot of us.
Mama Bella, is that the doctor?
Yes.
Would you mind giving me her address?
Oh, yes. She's at the East Side Clinic. It's very easy to find.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Georgette, take care of yourself.
All right. If you
I kind of surreptitiously hand her my card.
Okay.
Just
She'll sort of stuff it in her little pocket.
call me if you ever need anything, okay?
All right, Miss Maggie, thank you. I'm sure any friend of Frankie and Johnny's is a friend to me.
She just kind of sort of knowingly, pityingly smiles,
And you boys, if you two ever get enough scratch together again, give me a call. That was quite an evening the three of us had.
Maggie's like, I don't want to hear this. She's just walking out the door. Yeah.
She'll wave at you from the door. You guys head back out to the car.
So you see, Monsieur Newsom, this is called a meld, and this is called a canasta.
So remind me again, are we playing Bolivian canasta or Uruguayan canasta?
Is there any other besides Uruguayan?
So the deck's always throws and canastas are made solely of wild cards are allowed and are worth 2,000 points.
Oui, monsieur.
Right. Okay. And there are no bolivars. Right. Okay.
Well,
Hey, look! Would you believe it? Look, I've got 4 aces again.
Wow.
What are the chances of that? God dear. Yeah, aren't I lucky today?
I think
It's
that
amazing,
perhaps
isn't it?
I think Mr. Paul has gone asleep.
Oh,
Here comes everybody.
anything interesting in his pockets?
And I've raised my hat's over my eyes, and I've raised it up very slowly and give Prez a very stern look.
Okay.
It's all
I
right,
think
boy. I'm just jerking you, Jane.
the others are coming back. Please give me back my shoes.
Okay. Right. So that's you owe me $6,380. I'll take an IOU.
How much is the pants worth?
They're worth about $4.
All right, I owe you.
I would have thought you'd had a better tailor than that, to be honest. I'm a little
I
disappointed.
made them myself.
It's quite a
Well,
talent.
here they are. Let them in.
Oh, right, yep. Did you find out anything of interest?
So, well, how about we go to the diner? We'll kind of discuss this with you, unless anyone had any plans immediately.
Well, I mean, I've got to stop by the bank with Gerard later. Pick something up.
Didn't do so well, huh, Gerard?
Que sera, sera. Wait, is that French? That's Spanish. Je ne sais quoi.
Le plume de ma tante.
Le plume est sur la table.
I'll just tell them, you
Le
know.
singe est dans l'arbre.
If you all want to meet us at the diner, I think that might be better to explain sort of what we learned in, rather than in this cramped car.
I could use some cafe.
Okay.
All right, so we drive to the.
So Maggie will kind of lay it down as to what she thinks is going on, and kind of giving an idea of what happened with the Marston case. She doesn't really keep anything. You guys all heard it, so I'm not going to repeat. But what all do you think?
Do you think that at some point Monsieur Lambert and Miss Marsden were a couple, and he was trying to recreate that somehow?
How old was Mr. Lambert? Do any of us know?
From the descriptions you've got from him, he seems to be maybe in his early 30s.
Oh.
He would have been too young.
Yeah, he would have been a child.
She died in 1903, 1902.
What if it was his mother?
I feel that the Robert Pickman connection, that he was trying to recreate something.
Yeah, I think we could see this portrait of the lady. The one he painted. The one Pickman painted.
Did Pickman paint a portrait? Oh, that's right, he did. He did paint a portrait of her.
Yep.
It's very difficult to find anything by Pickman. They're all in private collections.
I wonder if Stone has a copy.
I don't think he has a Pickman.
Yeah,
Oh, he
actually,
does. Yeah,
he just had the one.
He's got one small Pickman.
He has the one, yeah.
That he's told you about.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we'll see tomorrow at the party.
Yeah, I'm going to tomorrow. I'm going to go by the clinic and see if the doctor can give me any information about Cassandra's condition. To see if she had stopped by, and then perhaps I'll try and do a little bit more research on the Marston family in the library tomorrow. That's my plan prior to the party. What all are you planning on doing?
I'd like to talk to the art society people about Pickman and Lambert if they'll say anything about him, but Pickman in particular.
If you'd like, I'll go with you. I don't think they will give you much information.
Depends on who we talk to him.
Yeah, maybe there was somebody who liked Pickman. I don't think so. But...
I think we'll get more information from somebody who didn't.
I think I might go to the public library. It seems to me it's the sort of place where you might find out about. I mean, it's quite an old story, isn't it? In the papers, about Adriana Marston. I mean, I'm no stranger to the library. It comes in handy to get a bit of background information on things from time to time, and it's quite warm in there. And on Wednesday nights, they have a great game of gin rummy running.
Oh.
Yeah.
Frankie, what did you have planned for tomorrow? Before this?
Yeah, nothing. I'm open to whatever.
Yeah, why don't we go with him and check out the library? I mean, I don't really visit the library much, but I mean, we have nothing else really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you should go more.
I heard they're records.
Food for the soul. Food for the soul. The library.
So they have records.
Yeah, they've got records. They've got all kinds of books. I mean, I doubt it's in yet, but I'm on the waiting list for a new thriller that's come out. It's called Lady Don't Fall Backwards by Darcy Sato. Apparently, it's a real riot.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else have plans?
I'll go with Diz and Gerard to
the Art Society?
Yeah, that sounds like someplace nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got a gig tonight.
We do have a gig tonight, so let's meet up tomorrow.
Alrighty. The pretty much the rest of the day, unless you have anything else you want to do, will be fairly uneventful. I know that the kids got photographs to develop, and Maggie's going to probably want to work on her story.
Yeah, she's been putting off her column for a while, so she needs to produce something.
Yeah. Diz is going to have to look after his business interests. Our two musicians have a gig. They probably need to go to their rehearsals since it's fairly late in the afternoon. I'm sure both Gerard and Prez have something pressing on their evening plans, or not.
I've got to sponge down my tux and get the smell of mothballs out of it.
I seem to be the only one who has nothing to do. I'll clean my house.
There you go. Work on those paintings for Danny Dice.
Oh, that's right.
You got time to lean, you got time to clean.
You have all those painting supplies that you got from Lambert's studio, too.
Oh, that's right. I could play around with them. All right.
Did we actually fully go through everything in that box that we picked up from Lambert's place?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know we had the paints, but I was wondering if there was something else.
The brushes are shit. You can throw them away.
Right.
They're good brushes, but they're ruined.
Yeah. Did not take good care of them.
That makes me very suspicious.
Well, this Lambert fellow was very free with his money. And I feel like perhaps the poor artist thing was just a front. If he was able to afford Oleander's Girl and buy out the contract, I feel like he's hiding his finances pretty well. He had some sort of windfall.
Do you think maybe now? How much do we know about this Lambert fella? Because could he have been just someone slumming it? Maybe, you know, like artists do that.
That's my impression.
Some of them take on entirely new personalities.
Exactly.
And just pretend to be someone else from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I read that in the news.
I've known some people that are like that. I've lived in New York, and even here in Boston, there's artists who take on completely different personas. It's very interesting.
He might go and live in some sort of dive, but
who in their right mind would ever do something so silly?
Well, I don't know if he was in his right mind. I mean, I think he was a bit of a
perhaps
he was a bit of a queer fish.
Perhaps his subject matter was a bit too disturbing for the people around him, so he found a safe place. Perhaps people were bothering him, and he wanted to get away from them.
What if Lambert just got mixed up with Danny Dice, and maybe stole the money in order to buy Cassandra's freedom, and that's why they skipped town?
I got the impression that she was with him for a few months after he bought out the contract.
Yeah, but I mean, that might explain why we're getting mixed signals about whether or not he's got money versus why he's living in squalor. Maybe he was just saving it in order.
Maybe he had money, but he used it all up to buy out the contract.
Yeah.
I have a question for all of you. The painting with the girl in it. Do you think that it is a very clever painting, or do you think that Cassandra is trapped within the canvas?
Oh, that's silly.
How the hell would that work? You can't put someone in a painting.
But how?
I mean,
how can we see this? We are already dealing with the darkness, the dark magic of some sort. Witchcraft.
The trick of the light.
So we've been avoiding saying that phrase for days now.
You did it. It's good.
What a strange combination of words.
That wasn't on the nose at all.
I just don't understand. I mean, how would they manage to do such a thing?
Once again, it must be black magic, witchcraft, some sort of...
I don't know how an airplane flies, but they go up in the air.
Ce n'est pas réaliste. Whatever that means.
So you think that it is some sort of a warning, not that she is trapped within the painting.
Wow. I don't know.
I felt when I saw the painting of the mountain as if something wanted to draw me into the painting.
There was definitely a malevolence to that painting.
What if, I am thinking some crazy ideas, but if she wanted to leave him and he trapped her so that she could never leave?
It sounds like he was at least that obsessive with her. I mean, he brought her freedom.
Well, you said he seemed to be obsessed with this particular type of girl. It's terrifying. Witchcraft.
Witchcraft? It's the 20s, Gerard. What are you talking about?
I
you
did
have
not
seen
sign
something.
up for anything to do with witchcraft. Now, I'm
Was-
just going to, we all saw the picture, but I think I'm just going to sign it off to fatigue, drowsiness, a little bit of tipsiness maybe, but
That's what I did, but then I saw the painting.
It's all of us.
I thought it was crazy. But then I saw the painting. And I would like to know, Mr. Newsom, you keep telling us exactly what you are not signed up for. What are you signed up for?
I'm signed up for whatever Maggie is paying me to sign up for.
Well, then you're signed up for this.
Gerard, you really want to be careful with those paints. Maybe there's something physically with the paints.
You think they're black magic? Oh my God. I should throw them out immediately.
Maybe they're cursed.
There's something strange.
Perhaps he bought them in Salem.
New Orleans. Voodoo.
I don't know what to believe. I don't know if it's magic or whatever, but I just get the distinct impression that Cassandra is still alive and we have a duty to save her. And I think Philip Stone is the best way we can get into this world. It's our best avenue.
I think Maggie's right. I think we just need to focus on what's real and what's in front of us and leave black magic and witchcraft out of it. And the next thing we got on our agenda is to go to the party.
Well, if you don't believe that the girl is trapped in the painting, then why not sell the painting to Philip Stone? We haven't even looked at the painting in days.
Yeah, maybe clues in it.
Which painting? The mountain one?
No, the girl one.
I thought we've all studied that front and backwards.
I think so too.
You did.
So why do we need it?
We don't. We're just carriers. We're
Yeah, but-
completing Pearlie's job to delivering it to stuff.
Why we need it is because when we give it up, we lose whatever leverage it provides us.
Yes, I agree.
So you think that Monsieur Stone might have the girl?
No, but he might have information, and as long as we've got the painting, we have his attention.
Right.
I agree. We
But
know
it seems to
from.
me,
Go ahead.
sorry. It seems to me, from everything you've said, especially the stuff from tonight, that there are three people who want that girl. There is Monsieur Lambert, there is Monsieur Stone, and there was a third one, and it just went right out of my head. Miss Oleander.
Oleander, yeah.
And if the girl left Monsieur Lambert, or if the girl left Monsieur Stone, or if the girl left Miss Oleander, they might have used black magic to seek revenge on the girl for leaving, and they've trapped her inside a painting. I didn't get to see Miss Oleander. Was she a witch?
She had a witchy way about her, but I don't think she was a witch.
He had a classy chassis.
Well, Gerard, that's a dramatic explanation, but it's an explanation nonetheless, and I suppose we can't rule it out. But I feel that Mr. Stone, he had a relationship with Cassandra, and she was a regular with him.
All three of them had a relationship with her of some sort.
Mm-hmm. But Mr. Stone perhaps had the resources to keep her hidden in whatever dungeon he has on his estate.
Well,
I was wondering, and perhaps we can look into this tomorrow at the library, but I wanted to see if Stone had some sort of relationship or acquaintance with the Marstons.
Ah, that's good. That would be a good inquiry. And if anything, if we can find evidence that Stone was involved in her disappearance, then, you know, all the better. I want justice for this girl.
Oh, he's rich. He will get out of any kind of justice. There's nothing fair in this world.
And perhaps we can find information on Lambert's disappearance as well.
Monsieur Stone wanted the girl, and Monsieur Lambert was in the way.
There was something else that Madame Oleander said that I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but she said something about how Lambert came in when he first appeared and he first started to, I guess, court Cassandra. He was not looking well. He was ill looking. But after a while, she became ill looking, and he, according to some of the girls, began to look better, like more healthier. I'm wondering if there was something. Maybe that's just a coincidence. I don't know. We're talking all this weird supernatural type stuff, and I don't know. It's just a thought that just went in my mind.
Perhaps we should sleep on it, and then we will know tomorrow what to do. I think I'm going to go to church.
Church.
Yes, I think I want to go tonight to church and say some prayers. Because if there's black magic here, we must fight it.
You fight it with the church, okay?
What, you going to fight it with jazz?
Hey, you fight evil with music.
But some say that jazz is the devil's music.
Yeah, those are people who don't know what music is.
I'll just mention real quick, too, that the death anniversary is coming up soon for Miss Marston.
Ah, good memory.
24 years.
Well, see you in the morning.
All right.
Alrighty.
Good night, fellows.
All right, you folks go your separate ways. Those of you who want to sleep or do other things or go back and work, or I know our jazz musicians have a gig later in the evening, so they're likely to be out to the early morning hours. There's probably about an hour and a half before most of the day, so I don't know if there's anything else you folks want to pursue this evening or push it off until the next day when things are open during normal business hours.
Well, nothing on our end besides getting ready for this show tonight.
Great.
I literally go to the Catholic Church and I talk to the priest and I tell him something. I have confession.
Okay.
I don't tell him about the painting.
It's telling about your mortal sins. What about you, Maggie? Are you going to go back to the newspaper and work?
Yeah, she's probably just going to go back to her place and, type on the typewriter until her neighbors tell her to shut up, and kind of work on like a fluff piece that she needs to just give to her editor to get them off her back.
So one's presumed you're pretty distracted right now.
Yeah. Maybe she'll actually type up something on Stone, like a little, inside the glamorous life of,
The rich and decadent.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe she'll work on that.
How about you, Paul?
I've got prints to make, so I'll head back to the dark room, and I'm not going to make like an 8x10. I'll make something a little bit bigger where they can see the details and the colors. And well, I guess this will be black and white film. So, I'll just, get those ready for tomorrow. And I assume that there's no problems there, that they develop as they should be, and no worries there.
What's your photography skill? You might pick up something unusual. Depends if you make a particularly good roll.
No, you have to roll.
No, I said that.
It's 70.
Okay, well, not a particularly good roll. Under your skill, I'm sure. Good workmanship, looks like exactly like the pictures. Nothing unusual about them.
Okay.
Nice, clear, not blurry. You didn't put your thumb over the lens.
Yes.
Well, maybe one of them. So.
That must have been when I was freaking out when it came to life. So
Yeah.
I am pardoning myself on that one.
All righty. How about you, Prez? What are you going to do?
So I was muted there. I'm just going to brush and sponge my tuxedo and give it an ironing.
Okay, get ready for the big event.
Get everything ready. Try and find my best cufflinks.
Okay.
Shine my shoes. Starch my collars.
Right. What about you, Diz? What are you going to be up to?
I'm going to go relax in a tea house for a while, and then I'm going to go have a steak. I'm going to go home and go to the hotel and get the hay.
All right. All right. Sounds like you guys have got your evenings pretty mapped out. We have, I don't want to jump forward into the Philip Stone party because I think that's going to be fairly extensive given the time that we've got on the clock still. We have an option. We could break a little early and we can map out what you folks do individually. And then when we get together, you can all share your information. That way people don't have to sort of hang around and wait while people are going their separate ways. So we could kind of fill that in during the week via email. Or we could do some of the individual conversations now. It sort of depends on how you guys are feeling.
Well, the people can't watch the emails, so...
No, but the characters would share their information.
At the beginning of the next episode.
At the beginning of the next episode, you guys would be getting together and everyone could share their information at that point.
I see. Well, it's up to everybody. Want to break a little early for Friday night?
That would be my vote, personally, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it seems like everybody's got single individual stuff that they're going to be doing, not really as a group, and it would probably be more efficient to have us map that out and then have everyone pick up at the diner before the party.
Okay.
And
there you go.
Share all of your information.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll break there.
Okay.
Our scenario. Wait, sorry, that's not what I meant to say. Where is my... Our players included Jeff Wilkins, Bill Mize, Troy Wheeldryer, Mick Swan, Steve Hill, Wayne Worthy, and myself with Janice Hill as Keeper of the Secrets. Our musical intro, Jubilee Stomp, was performed by Duke Ellington and his Cotton Club Orchestra. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. Patrons of our show now enjoy the privilege of listening to some of our pre- and post-game conversations. We discuss just about everything, and it can be fascinating and funny and insightful. If you would like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month will help us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.